Oh, guys, I am so sorry about that. Bloody internet, eh?
So, I mean,
Google decided to sign me out, and then it decided not to accept my password when I've been clever and made sure that my password is as I needed it. And yeah, then I had to go through my phone, and it sent a message to my phone, and then my phone didn't want to touch the internet. I've had a bit of a run around here.
he was going mad. He was going mad.
I was having a moment.
Yeah.
So, guys, please bear with me, and I'm really sorry I'm a bit late. Yeah, to give the PC a thump. In fact, if I'd had a cat, I'd have kicked it.
I have you,
So, guys, welcome to the pub. Now, I need the cider. Do that moments like that.
It's been 32 degrees, so it's been really warm here.
Yeah,
There's been no air, and yeah.
Normally I'm well prepared. Normally well in advance. And this evening, don't ask me why. It just had a mate Tracy round. She was around with Kaz. She went home. Everything's fine. I've got an hour to go. Have a bite to eat. Have a quick shower. Put a clean t-shirt on. Come up, set everything up. Go and have a wander. Thought, instead of doing the usual sitting there for 20 minutes, twiddling my thumbs, I'll wait till just before. Yeah, I won't do that again. So 20 minutes ahead next time I'll be signing up. Do excuse me, it's giving me hiccups. Anyhow, cheers to you all.
Are you in your boxes? I don't blame you. I would be, but no one wants to see that.
Yeah, you don't want me turning that camera down, I tell you. Both of us from the chest down are sitting here in a state of undress. Dog Dad, you too. Don't blame you, mate. So those of you that aren't in the UK, yeah, we're 90 degrees here. So that's 32 degrees we've been hitting. And the usual thing with the UK, we get I don't know about other parts of the UK, but I know here we've literally had stagnant air. It's just sat the same air the whole time. We're not getting much in the way of breeze or anything. And because we've had weeks of moisture, the ground's quite damp. So, of course, that's just created a high humidity level. And I know in comparison to other places, like guys out in Louisiana and things like that, it's no comparison. But for us Brits, weak and feeble. We're suffering. 98 humidity, 97% humidity.
Yeah, John. Yeah, we actually went out shopping yesterday at 8 o'clock in the morning because it was, too much.
And I'm definitely not a hot weather person. Never have been, never will be. Cold weather, I adapt to and handle very, very well. I'm quite lucky that I'm going to change the glasses, got wrong glasses on. Yeah, there you go. My old man Mick. That's it. For those of you wondering about my eyesight, it's all the close stuff I struggle with. I'm very, very lucky. I have extreme long vision. So, if I look out over a couple of miles, I can spot deer, rabbits, hares, things like that, movement, shape, shine, colour. But close up, don't went to cinema. Yeah, I'll tell you. I went into the petrol station the other day. The woman said to me, before you say anything, should we charge you to loiter? I was like, all right, cheers. So, you're all good.
We had a little bit of a downpour, Lee, but it just had a little downpour, but this temperature just went up and up.
Yeah.
And it rained again, and it went up and up.
Yeah, it's that thing. It's not enough moisture hitting the ground to actually cool it. So it's literally hitting the ground.
Not enough for him to strip off and run into the garden. Straight
steam. No. Normally, in these conditions, as Kaz points out, I am one of these mad buggers that goes, yeah, it's raining. Strip, start naked, go dance around in the garden. Much to the ponderance of the neighbour's cat who sits on the fence and goes, oh, God, the humans.
Did you have any thunder? There was no wind, was it, at all?
No wind at all. Could do with a good thunderstorm. Probably, hopefully, what it's leading up to. Could do like a good thunderstorm to clear the air. We drove down to Fareham and met up with Ian Hillier.
His wife Pauline.
Earlier in the week, and his wife Pauline. And on the drive down there, we took a nice evening drive, nice and cool. Had the windows open in the car, and you could smell damp soil. So we knew there was rain somewhere, but it just definitely wasn't in our area. But it had that.
It did when we got to the coast. It got a little rain, but
that, you get that
evening,
Mac.
Pulled out the fridge now, have you?
You get that nice. You go through a hot period and everything gets a bit dusty, a bit dry, sticks in the throat. And then usually, if you're lucky, 10-15 minutes before you get an absolutely cracking thunderstorm, you start to smell that ozone, and you can smell the damp soil on the wind as the wind's carrying the scent of the rain ahead of it. One of the most wonderful smells, I think, as far as I'm concerned, you can get. I quite enjoy that. And again, I know these guys love the heat. Yeah, brilliant. And I'm glad you do. Just not for me. Give me a winter's day. Give me a cold and crisp. I can handle that. I can put more clothes on. Nobody wants to see this idiot running around naked. It's not a pretty sight. Yeah. Yeah, the Mozzies, they're getting their last swing of it, aren't they?
We just noticed about 10 minutes ago, 10-15 minutes ago, there was a huge flock of jackdaws went over, and there was a noise. And we don't normally get them, not in that number. It's so many.
Not that late in the evening. No. So they've either been put up by something's disturbed them where they are, or they know something we don't. And again, from a survival point of view, if you ever see the animals doing something strange, misbehaving, very, very out of the ordinary, dogs start howling at night, cats start sprinting for cover, it's always an indicator that something's coming.
Evening, Derek.
Evening, Derek. How you doing out there? Hope you're good, my friend. Yeah, that's the problem with the camera, isn't it? Back to front. Yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed Kaz's video this week. That was a first effort, and I thought it was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hopefully you all like that, and hopefully I can encourage you to do a bit more.
Thank you.
It's it's nice.
I was so nervous.
And again, it comes back to the thing, we all share it. We all enjoy this. I mean, there's some of you guys out there that I'm hoping to get to see in the future. I'll bring the camera along, do your thing, There's those of you like you that you've got your channel and that, you know what it's about. It's
a new one.
Good together. Bradley, good evening and welcome, my friend. And hope you're all good. Anyhow, first things first tonight, moment, thoughts and prayers. As every week we try and find somebody to have a think about. And guys in Morocco, that's hellish. Yeah. Was that 6.8, was it?
6.8 on the Richter scale.
6.8 in the early hours.
2,000 people lost their lives.
Yeah, that's hellish. And my thoughts and prayers go out to those that have lost their lives, those families that have lost their homes, and also to the guys that are out there working so hard to try and find people.
Evening, Sam.
Evening, Sam. It's going to be a hellish environment. So, a moment's thought for them. To the rest of you, I'd say cheers. Hopefully,
I'm on the
Apple
Tango.
Kaz is on the Apple Tango, and I'm on the Thatcher's Haze tonight. And as you see, the bottle is nice and cold. It's got moisture running off it. It's good and cold.
Yes, because it's not just the people; it's the poor devils have got to go in there and try and find these people. Yeah. Hopefully, quick
as
enough.
a responder myself, and bear in mind, I've never been in that desperate a situation. And somebody that's trained and practiced first aid skills for emergency uses for many, many years, and had to, on occasion, put them to uses.
Good evening, Paranormal Black Camper.
It's the poor old responders. There was those. I can tell you, those guys are working out there in hellish conditions, minimum resources, minimum equipment, and putting their lives at risk every moment of the day.
You're right, Michael, about the road workers. It's
it's hellish, isn't it?
It's a bad week.
Yeah, bad week all round. Anyhow, so we've done our thoughts and prayers. We will get on to brighter things. It's an evening in the pub. Okay, wild camping. So the thing I put up this week now, and again, because I'm pro wild camping, I'm not anti wild camping. What I am anti, and I've done a bit of research this week, and I've been watching a few videos. And I've suddenly realised how me, as somebody who's making videos, has a lot of responsibility. There are most of you guys out there know what you're looking at, know what you're doing. And Dog Dad's videos, I'm seeing the way he's going with that. Good on you, mate. That's brilliant. And as you can see, me and Mac with Wild Camping 101s, you're going to see a bit more of that. Maybe might even get together in the next week or two and do a bit of a collab if you're interested. But again, as influencers, and that's what we're influencers. We put our stuff out on YouTube. We have a responsibility to show the highlights, show the exciting things, show the stuff that's absolutely fantastic, the adventures that we have, the things we do, but also to point out the risks and the dangers. And me and Mac and Kaz was sitting here one evening last week having a coffee, having a natter, just browsing YouTube, and we've got a route in Snowdon that is called Crib Gok. Okay, and I'm going to give you a guide and a video to link to, or say link to. I'm going to tell you about it in a minute. So if you've got a pen and paper to hand or a way of making a note, I'll give you a couple of minutes and then I'll give you his details. And I'd say go and have a look at it on YouTube. It was a very interesting video. In fact, there's a couple of them. So this is a ridge, goes up Snowdon, and it's the hardest route up, and you end up walking along a ridge line. And we start seeing videos of people going, "Yeah, I'm doing it barefoot. I'm doing it blindfolded. No, I can do it hopping." You know, that sort of stupidity. Look at me. I've never walked up a mountain in my life, and I'm doing it. I've got my carrier bag from Tesco's with a packet of crisps and a box of biscuits in it. And I'm like, yeah, you're getting the views. Yeah, you are getting the views because it's an extreme climb. Okay, it's a category 1. Or scramble, not climb, it's a scramble. And every year it takes 8 to 10 lives. And they're saying that the number of lives has suddenly gone up. And it's because of the popularity of people doing this route, or this is how we worked out, popularity of people doing this route. But there's people showing that, you know, oh yeah, I can do this route now. May I'm not fit, I've never climbed a mountain in my life, and I've done it. It's wonderful. Yeah, on the perfect day when the weather conditions are right and you've had no issues, you did it. So somebody out there with little experience watches that and goes, cool, that looked easy, I'll have a go. And ends up without the right skill set and ability. Yeah, exactly. Ben Nevis in flip-flops and carrying an umbrella. Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, again, so the channel I'd like you all to go and have a look at when you go spare 5, okay, and it's a absolutely brilliant video in my book. It's a very experienced guy. So his channel is called Brave Dave. Okay, BRAVE Dave on YouTube. And have a look through for the Crib Gok disaster. Okay. That's a video worth watching. I'd like to see more of those. That really shows how it can go wrong. And the way the guys responded as well. Yeah, hairy. Very hairy. If you want to watch one that makes you go, oh, bloody hell, that's one to watch. The other one that I came up with was looking through that the guy had done a video that both me and Mac watched. It was very interesting, and again was a great one which showed how quickly and how easily things can go wrong, yeah, and how it can change. Excuse me, going through the notes here.
Wet.
There we go. Oh, here we go. The other one that I'd like to have a look at is a channel called 2 Feet Forward. And that's his emergency wild camp video. Brilliant. I applaud the guy for putting it up there. Okay. Because again, it shows how easy it can go very, very wrong and come very, very close. I will say nobody dies in any of these videos. But there's
the opportunity to go south is the
opportunity of dying was like hair's breadths, you know. You're experienced guys, but they are definitely worth having a look at.
Definitely Darwin Awards.
Yeah, the Darwin's Brave Dave, great guy, and he's a leader. He's a mountain leader. Okay, so he went up. He's a super experienced guy. Went up. He does this route regularly, and he takes people along it. And he went up with a mate on a day where the weather wasn't so good. When it started out, it wasn't too bad. Well, within their skill set, it changed. So they decided, time to get off. There were 2 other guys up there that were inexperienced, so they came off. They took an emergency. There's several emergency exit routes up there, and yeah, what should have been fairly easy went like that, turned straight away into a nightmare. I've never seen a man go through or travel through the air like that before. So yeah, then have a look at it.
I watched another one where they were doing it in the fog, and you couldn't see your foot in front of you, and there are the rocks. You look, feet one each side of this, the top of this place there. It was mad.
And so, yeah, coming back to the reason for this. So yeah, it's coming back to that thing as influencers. We have a responsibility to try and encourage people to go and do things, have these adventures, but within their skill sets and their capabilities, and then to build themselves up, or to go get the advice. And I'm not necessarily just saying watch a video on YouTube and go, yeah, I could do that. Go and get the advice, go get the training, go speak to the locals. And as I've said before, if need be, if it's an area you don't know, especially in the UK, phone your mountain rescue, right? Ask for advice. These guys are absolutely brilliant. They're the ones that are going to have to go up and pull you down if need be. They will tell you which guides to use. They will give you all the information you need. They give you all the advice. Heed it, So again, coming back to my channel, we're going back to doing 101s, and the reason we're going back to doing 101s is later in the year and next year, when I want to show some more exciting stuff and some more edgy bits and pieces, I want to start the channel like I would with a training program. Back to the basics, go back through basics, refresh myself as well, refresh my own memory techniques, methods, and that. Share it, and then build up to the more exciting and the more extreme things. And again, it will always be bearing in mind my own capabilities, my fitness levels, the equipment that I've got. That's people naturally overestimate or underestimate their equipment and overestimate their own ability. And that's quite natural. We all do it. I'm forever doing it. And that times I've gone out to do something, got halfway through it and thought, bloody hell, I'm puffing and blubbing. I didn't do this last time. Yeah, well, last time you did that climb, Mike, it was 20 years ago. You're carrying another 6 or 7 stone now. So again, it's coming back to it. Wild Camping Sparford. Hello, mate. How you doing? Ian, how you doing? Right, I've got to do some hellos. Caroline, hiya. Benny Bushcraft, Paranormal Camper. Hello, mate. I hope you're doing good. John.
Law's here. If you crew, you got so many. Yeah,
Law Mice.
I'm glad you all liked the video.
Yeah, and thank you for all the support, guys. It's really appreciated. Yes, John, that's it. Doing courses. Any training, any sharing of advice, ability, equipment, techniques. I mean, my first aid skills, I'm forever doing updates. Every time there's a new update, a new method, a new technique, I'll dive onto it.
Nothing better than having knowledge, but to sharing it. It's not just to keep to yourself.
Yeah.
To share with everyone else, and that's what keeps the good knowledge going. It doesn't stop it with you.
Yeah, and again, as I'm always saying to you guys on this channel, we take constructive criticism. Okay, so any time I do a video and you think that was too close to the edge, Mick, or you pushed that too far, be honest, let me know. All right? That sort of feedback. Sometimes we get a bit carried away with ourselves, and we need just that, you guys to pull us back. And you're my Sunday social crew. You're my watchers. You're my advisors. You're the guys that I'm going to listen to. Who go. You're the guys I'm going to listen to. If you suddenly come up, 2 or 3 you come up, and go, mate, that was a bit close to the mark, or a bit dodgy. Yeah, you might be pushing it a bit too hard or a bit too extreme. Let me know. And I know we haven't done anything really extreme as yet, but winter's coming. Yeah, so
we're not Game of Thrones.
We're going yeah, so we're going to push ourselves. And I tell you what, looking through these videos this week, and I'm not knocking any of the other channels. Like I say, 2 Feet Forward and Brave Dave, I'm not knocking them in any way. Brilliant videos, astounding videos, and big ups to the guys for showing what happens when it goes wrong and how easy it goes wrong. Okay, I think they were absolutely brilliant. So I'd like to see more videos like that, not just the clickbaits that go, oh, you know, I nearly died in the forest, bramble, thumb, hurty. No, these are genuine situations that spiraled so fast, and that's the way they go. So, what did I come across in common fails? Right, so common fails, planning. Right, so I've put this as a reminder list to myself. Okay, so when I'm looking at doing my videos, it's just a little check sheet of bits and pieces to make me go, have I thought about that? Have I thought about this? So I've just titled it Common Fails. The first bit I've put is planning. Okay, so planning. Know your routes, know your locations, don't wander aimlessly, research where others have been. In other words, get the advice, find out who's been there before, have a look at other people's videos, scout the terrain by doing that, speak to the mountain rescue, speak to the local climbing club, get the advice that I need, speak to the local rangers, people like that if I have to. If I'm going to go somewhere that extreme, get that information.
Get the OS map.
Find out where the bothies are, find out where the shelters are, where the caves are, where the avalanche area is, so on and so on and so on. 2, have the right kit for the conditions, including clothing. Research what's best, what's the best and the worst you could expect in weather. Okay, well that's standard operating procedure, but it's just a reminder for me. Check that kit. Now go through that bag. We're changing seasons here. I changed all my kit to my autumn seasons. Bang, 32 degrees. Pulling out merino shirts and stuff, and woolly socks and thermal underwear, and packing that away again. Another week or 2, I'll be pulling it all back out. But again, it's just be prepared to change it and adjust it as you need to. Have your emergency plan. Yeah, like the emergency systems for that area. Right, whether it's mountain rescue, whether it's Coast Guard, whether it's a private company, know that information. And again, know the shelter points, know if there's bothies, know if there's, places that you can go to and shelter. And in a lot of the mountain areas, it might not be a bothy, but even something like a local bus shelter is going to give you a bit of protection. Okay.
Gear. Slightly detailed maps.
Detailed maps, yeah. OS maps all the time. And again, mark your OS maps. Make sure they're in date. Make sure that they're up together. Gear. Right, gear. All I've done for gear is I put it in the order of things that I tend to go through in my head. Right, and this is the way I think of my gear. I start on a simple system. I go feet. Now my feet, I'm screwed. So boots, socks, feet. The condition of my feet. Okay, are they up to what I am intended to do? Clothing. Again, comes back to shelters. So those two sit next to one another. Clothing, shelter. Right. Always think of your clothing as a part of your shelter system. First aid. Next one, SOS. How can I signal from there? Is there a phone signal? Do I need to get myself a GPS SOS system? Okay, what am I going to do if it goes tits up? Okay. Next thing is lighting, signalling. Okay. Backup system. I see so many incidents where people literally, they've got one torch and they're stuck in the middle of nowhere, and that torch has let them down. They're on a mountainside. A torch on a mountainside. As I've said in the past, a single candle in the right conditions, in a perfect dark, can be spotted by the human eye from 15 miles. Okay, you've got a torch. You're sitting on a mountainside. You've got an awkward situation, or you're needing to signal for help and show people where you are. That torch is the one thing that's going to save you. Okay, cook systems. Yeah, make sure you got something to be able to warm food. Put warm food into you. Okay, the heat and that at the moment is not an essential thing. But as soon as that temperature starts coming down even a bit, you want to be able to provide warm sustenance if you're going up on the hills. Okay, and when it comes back to the food, right, you've got to think about that again. You've got to think food, water, replen requirements, and what have I got for emergencies? Okay. Now, I'm not so keen on things like ramen noodles. However, ramen noodles weigh next to nothing and have a reasonable calorific count. They're easy to cook and can be eaten raw. So having 4 or 5 packs of those crunched up, squashed away in the bottom of a Bergen or a pouch or a pocket somewhere doesn't add a lot of weight. doesn't add a lot of difficulty to carry. Could be, like I say, can be eaten raw or can be cooked and will provide you sustenance. Now, you break that down sensibly, that's my emergency supply. Okay, so 4 or 5 packs of that. If I'm in a real bad situation and I'm sitting on the hillside thinking I'm going to be stuck here in this tent for 3 days, okay, that's enough calories to keep me going. Yeah, I'm going to be hungry. Yeah, I'm not going to feel brilliant, but it would keep me going. It keeps the body fueled. Don't be one of those that goes out and goes, I'm going for 2 days, I'm taking 2 days food. Okay, always have that something that if it goes tits up or it goes wrong, you've got it.
Yeah, capsule's great.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, and it's the other thing, people come back, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. It's a survival situation. You're going to, that is your emergency kit. It is kit for an emergency. I usually choose things that I'm not that keen on, purely and simply because if I like it, I'm going to sit there in the morning and go, I'll have that now. Okay, and it's gone. If it's something that I go, God, I'm not that keen on those, but I'm starving hungry, I'll eat it, and it makes it easier to ration it out. Yes, and don't forget, please don't forget your cup and your spoon. It's nothing more frustrating. I've seen a couple of videos where a couple of guys have done that recently, and yeah, I can share in that. I've been in that situation myself. There is nothing more frustrating than getting up there and then going,
But you ever had an ouch pouch? You got a folding cup and you got a spork.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, and again, checklists, check your kit. Anyhow, so on to the next thing: fitness and ability. As I said before, we normally or naturally overestimate our abilities and our fitness. Of course we do. Okay. If I think rationally that I'm a 58-year-old man that is slightly overweight, has been smoking most of his life and no longer does major physical exercise, I realise I am an old guy. Okay, I've got the aches and the pains to prove it. My head tells me I'm still 19. My head still looks at tabs, mountains, climbs, and says, do that 30 minutes. Okay. The reality is, I can't, but my head still says that it wants to do it. Okay. That fits with the next thing. Okay. And the next thing is, like I say, we've all seen it: stupidity and ego. Okay. Don't allow that perfect shot to put you in danger. Okay. And I'm inventing a term for this. This is me trying to be clever here. Right? Don't allow that perfect shot to put you in danger. Don't hang off the cliff. Don't stick your head over the edge of the volcano. Okay? Don't stick your head out the train. Okay? And I'm going to call this the stroking the bison syndrome. Okay? For those of you that remember the classic lady who got her trousers torn off by the bison, yeah, exactly that. Don't stroke a bloody bison. Okay? Make sure.
Kneel in front of it.
Yeah.
Pet it.
It might look brilliant for TikTok. It might look fantastic for YouTube if you could just dangle by your little finger over the fire pit from 50 feet up that dead oak tree. Yeah, it'd be a brilliant shot, but is it really worth it? And coming on to the last 2 items, and this is one that always causes a bit of argument: water versus weight. Okay. We always underestimate our water requirements, especially when we think about the weight. Take a litre of water, you hold up. Do I need to carry 3 litres with me? For the time I'm going, I could manage. It's a lot of weight. Okay, carry it. Carry it or have a way of filtering it. Have a way, if you know you can collect it from the wild, if you're in an environment where you know you're going to be able to take that water, run it through a water filter and it's going to be safe to drink, brilliant, you can reduce the weight. But if you can't reduce the weight, you've got to accept it and carry the water. If you're only going for an hour's wander, yeah, you won't. Half a litre, that's not a problem. Or a litre, that's not an issue. Carry it, find a way of carrying it. But don't underestimate it. If you're going up on the hills, the mountains, out into the forests and that, always, I'd rather have the aches and pains of carrying a bit extra weight and know that I can stay hydrated than lose out. Because dehydration. It affects your ability to think properly. It starts to cramp muscles. Right? It affects your body's ability to maintain itself correctly. Okay.
Sometimes people carry their cans of alcohol. I'd
Yeah.
rather have the water.
Yeah. Rather have a coffee and a cup of tea when I'm out in the woods, to be honest with you. I get the point. You're going out in the safe woods with a couple of mates, and it's a local, and a couple of beers, a couple of tins with the guys, all for all that.
But when you go up into the mountains,
yeah, when I've seen people sort of up on Snowdon for 2 or 3 days, and they're doing quite severe hikes, and then they're swigging beer in the evenings. It's not good for the body. The body's trying to fight all that effort, and that it's not going to help. Fires versus cookers. Okay, no, it's simple there. All I've put down: conditions, size, fuel, legality, and that's my checklist. That is my same sort of checklist I use. Me and Mac when we're going down to Dartmoor. Okay, simple as that, and it's just there to remind me. A litre of booze might well be lighter than a litre of water, but I'd say when you're cramped,
it's in the mind. They call it
yeah.
Mindset.
Mindset. Yeah. I just say this much to you: when your pee turns brown, your muscles are cramping completely, and you're no longer able to focus on the ordnance survey. Yeah, that's time to start swigging the booze. Yeah, I'll just go back for the water, I think. And I've been in a couple of situations where I've been that dehydrated that the pee has turned brown, that it is uncomfortable, that it starts to, the muscles are then fatiguing non-stop, and the ability to concentrate and focus starts to fade out. And by golly, you'll notice it.
Yeah, litre of booze.
Yeah.
If you're going up into like snow, out to the moors, and there's quite a lot of natural water.
Yeah, when we were up on Dartmoor, we were in a position where a lot of the rivers and the leaks up there are quite good water sources. So again, using the filter system, we were able to take from there. So again, when we packed the vehicle, I did pack 3 litres in easy carry bottles. But what we actually used out there was pretty much taken from local source. I couldn't be asked to walk back to the tap or the vehicle. So we took from water source and filtered it, and it was lovely, absolutely beautiful, clear as a bell, absolutely stunning. Both thoroughly enjoyed that, very refreshing. But again, in southern England, as a lot of my guys know,
we heavy.
Yeah, we got on one of the farms I've got a lovely little river there, absolutely stunning little river. It's not huge at all. Got a few crayfish in it, got a few fish in it. We did our research on it, and it's been found to be heavily polluted with heavy metals. Okay, now I'm pretty confident my filter would save my bacon, but I don't want to do it. I'd rather carry the water out there. Yeah, having that water in your car, it's a bonus. And again, it's not just for rehydrating yourself, rehydrating others. About 10 years ago, maybe even a little bit more, I was driving around a perimeter track to a complex, and this perimeter track was gravel. It's a 10k perimeter track, bordered by a small town, middle of summer, and it was a scorcher. It really was an absolute scorcher. And I'm going around doing a security sweep, making sure red flags up, gates are locked, public are behaving, because they can follow this track all the way around the danger area. And as I'm driving along, I see this hump in the track ahead of me, and I thought, what the hell's that? And as I get closer, I realise it's a dog, and it was an elderly spaniel, and he was flaked. And as I pulled up, I thought, he's dead. He's been hit by something or whatever. He looks absolutely gone. Picked him up. He's not breathing properly, but he is breathing. So I've got him into the car. I've got the air conditioning going. I'm doing everything I can to try and bring his body temperature down. And I used to carry like a big 3 litre jug in the car, just rehydrate myself wash my hands if I needed, that sort of thing. So I'm sort of trickling water across his tongue. And I've got his tongue out, and I'm trying to bring his body temperature down. And eventually I did, and he sort of come round. He wasn't happy, he wasn't in a good way, but he was quite stressed. And then about 45 minutes later, I see people coming back along the track on push bikes. And I could tell by their manner that they're looking for something. And I'm like, yeah, it's your dog, innit? And they sort of come up to I let them come up to the car. I was fuming. I was like, I'm not going to you. You suffer. And they got to me, and I said, you lost your dog? They went, yeah. I said, a little brown spaniel. They went, yeah. I said, well, there's this little brown spaniel in here. Said, oh, yeah, there is. Oh, well, we'll take him, we'll head home. And I said, well, no, because it's about 5 or 6 k's from here to where you're going. So you're obviously going back round to the village. Oh, yeah, we are. So we're out for a family cycle ride on a nice Sunday afternoon. And I looked at it and I said, you serious? I said, it is stupid hot. I mean, it was a good 30 degrees. I said, your little friend here, your loyal family member, has done everything he can to keep up with you. He has run himself to the point where he's collapsed, and you didn't even bloody notice, and you've kept going. I said, your dog was dead. If I hadn't got him into the car, got some moisture over to him and revived him, I said, your dog would have been dead. Simple as. I said, you didn't even notice. I said, 40 odd minutes I've been sat here sorting your dog out, and you finally come back. You must have almost got home. Oh, well, yeah, but he just drags along behind, you know. He says he's getting slow and old. And I went, yeah, he's getting slow and old. I said, right. I said, what we'll do, I said, obviously you want your dog back, you want to go home. I said, so we can travel down. I said, but I'll drive your dog down to where the village is. And so I started driving behind them on their push bikes, and I was being a bit mean because I was sort of pushing them a little bit. You know, I'm head out the window, come on! I've got work to do, get on! And eventually I lost my temper with them. So I got in front of them, and I made as much dust on that gravel track as I humanly could. Okay? I kicked up that dust as much as I could in front of them, so they were literally cycling the whole time, the whole family in a dust cloud, all the way back to the car park. Very petty of me, really. Very petty of me. But they got off lighter considering what I actually wanted to do to them. They human beings, terrible things. But again, carrying that water saved that dog. And it was quite funny how when they got down there, they were telling me how they love their dog and they're good dog owners and they care for him, and they just didn't realise. And I just looked at this poor, loyal friend and I thought, well, it goes out to you, mate. You deserve better than that. Yeah. So, yeah, just carry a bit of water in the car. You never know when you're going to need it or somebody else is going to need it. Or, in the case of that, a dog might need it. Human beings, horrible things, really. So,
as we watched a program the other day, didn't we? These people have gone out for the night. It was from about 5 years ago, and the weather went really bad, and they only didn't carry extra food with them, did they?
No, they'd had a bit of extra food.
Then they suddenly thought to themselves, they said, well, when we get back to the car's going to be covered in snow, and we've got no food there either, and we're going to have to wait. So carry extra water, food, because this makes sense to
simple
carry
things.
Stuff. You might not need it, but when you're needing water or you need something to eat, you know it's back at the car.
And that's a nice thing. That's one of the nice things with with me and Dog Dad. So we're very local to one another. So Dog Dad, he's talking more about, without I might be speaking out of place, but he's talking more about your sort of your walks out with your dogs, your local stuff. And I want to eventually go into the more, or show some of the more extreme stuff, some of the more difficult conditions and that. Don't leave.
We've noticed the amount of Dachshunds. There seems to be a lot of Dachshunds about at the moment, and it's not. I didn't say it's just worse for Dachshunds, but their bellies are quite low to the ground. But yeah, the amount of people, they're out there walking, yet their dogs are on concrete and tarmac.
32-degree heat. I'm sitting in the car with the aircon on day before yesterday. and watched somebody walk past me on the pavement with a black Newfoundland, and that was at lunchtime. You know, hottest point of the day is taking the dog for a walk, and the dog's nose is hanging about 2 inches off the tarmac. Some people shouldn't be allowed pets, unfortunately.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy. How you doing? No, you're not late. You're feeling better now. You managed to cool yourself down.
I think with dogs, not people, they should touch the ground, get them walk barefoot or sit their bare ass on the concrete tarmac. See how they like, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you see people standing there talking.
Yeah.
And the dog's sitting there.
Yeah. It's John. Canteen kit with Hexy stoves always with the water. Yeah, it's simple things, isn't it? It's that little bit of preparation, that little bit of kit put to one side. It makes all the difference. And just sometimes not even having to use it, just knowing it's there. You know, so we went down to see Ian, lovely chap as well. He's really nice to get out and meet, subscriber and all the rest of it. Absolutely stunning. Quite enjoyed that.
It was nice meeting you and Ian and
his wife Pauline.
Yeah.
It's a lovely evening, but it's only 50 miles. It's only 50 miles. It's only 50 miles from where we live, and I was driving down there, and the thought did go through my head: we're going to be coming back in the early hours of the morning, right? So if the car conks or something, we'll probably be stuck in the car all night. But that's all right. I've got the kit in the car. I've got enough food for me and Gaz. We can sit in the car quite comfortable. We've got some food there. We've got coffees, got hot chocolates, got stuff so we can curl up and have a kip if we need to. Yeah, and it's just that reassurance. It's a pleasant thing. It's I suppose it's like the first aid kit scenario, isn't it? You got that first aid kit there. Just knowing it's there, it's a nice little backup.
The car's not going to worry about carrying it, is it?
No, and that's just it. Your car's not worried about carrying that little bit of extra weight. Yeah, good. I'm glad you're feeling better, Tracy. Yeah, because you were looking very, very hot and flustered when I took you home. So crashed out in front of the fan, cooled yourself down. Excellent. And hopefully my mate Phil's doing good. Yeah, he says hi Phil. Absolutely wonderful. So that brings us back to responsibility, doesn't it? So I've got to try and be responsible in my videos, and that's again why we're going back to video 101s, because we have a lot of people watch the videos, a lot of questions, and we are getting questions from people. You know, they send emails and that saying, you know, oh, Mick, could you show us how to do this, how to do that? I don't mind. It gives me something to do the videos. So likewise, if you want to send me a message, ask me a question, want you to show you something on a video, that's the email address. You can always wind this back and have another look. There you go. You can always give me a holler, and I don't care how silly the question is. Okay, I'm always prepared to give it a go. Anyhow, on to the next part, the next thing for today. Next thing I want you to have a look at. Yeah, just a couple of little notes there I've made. Right, okie doke. So, actually, before I show you some kit, some other little things I put down just as some footnotes. Just because it's good today, don't mean it's going to be good tomorrow. By that, I'm referring to rivers and that. So I'm watching somebody doing some canyoneering. Great fun, absolutely awesome fun. But the guy was pointing out that there was a place called the Devil's Hole that they go into. And it's a drop into a pool. Okay, so this pool is only safe when it's in flood. When it's not in flood, there's an underground cave and river network. And when the water level's low, that's when people get pulled into the underground cave and the underground river network. So, and as like you said, it's an opposite, because normally if it's in flood, you'd stay away from it. It's looking nice and shallow and calm, and that's where it all goes wrong for people. So again, do your research, know your place, but yeah, just because you go down that route today doesn't mean it's going to be good tomorrow. Rivers and tides change the conditions and the footing all the time. Gullies and canyons will become death traps. Okay, and coming back to food, just another little one. fuel your machine appropriately. Okay, so by that, we all put petrol and oil in our cars. If I'm going to have to do something pretty strenuous with Mac, what I'll do is I'll start building my body 24 hours or a minimum 24 hours beforehand. That is eating a higher carbohydrate meal, getting plenty of pasta into me, getting plenty of energy, putting a bit of resource into my body before I start. Okay, so that I'm fueled for the beginning, and I always allow for a minimum of 48 hours of disaster afterwards. So if we're going for 2 days, I plan for 4 days with my emergency rations. Okay, if it's winter, I'll take that out to 6 days because I know I'm going to need a higher calorific rate. Yeah, don't overeat, don't overeat, and balance your nosh. That's the only other thing I'll say about that. And yeah, allow your body to recover afterwards. When you come back, don't jump into your next project straight away. Give yourself a couple of days just to wind down, let those muscles recover, let the tendons sort themselves out. Otherwise, you're going to be punishing yourself. Anyhow, on to some kit. Temu time! Yay! Okie doke. So what did I get from Temu this week? Right. I got one of these. Okie doke. It's a titanium pen. Okay. So it's got a really nice window breaker on it, which I have tried on glass and does work very, very well. Doesn't take a lot of force. But what impressed me, that was £3 odd. Okay. Very well constructed. It does work as a pen, which keeps it legal for the UK. But the other thing is, it's a Parker system. Okay.
So do I, Lee.
It's got a Parker style insert and actually writes very, very, very nicely. Even down to how it seals with rubber grommets and O-rings. It's for the money. It's very, very well constructed. I'm going to order a couple more of these. I want one to keep in the car, one in the office, and one to stick in my smock. There's absolutely lovely bit of kit, cheap and cheerful. Yeah, it's and again, if you've got to use it to break a window, you can do. It'd also make a very, very good windlass for a tourniquet, an improvised tourniquet.
Yeah, Temu is definitely better than Wish. Yeah. Wish, they charge too much. I mean, as you may all be aware or not aware, only a couple of weeks' time we'll be getting a new little fur baby, and I've been getting a lot of kit for him, like detachable bowls and things like that.
Good advice. And him saying that these work very, very well on the waterproof pads. Yeah. So that's, or the rainproof pads. So that's worth knowing. Oh, just be careful. I'm not going to scoot over your toe. I had a fail as well. I went to make a video this week because it's 30-degree heat. So I thought, I bought one of these a while back, a solar lighter. Okay, now I no longer have the solar lighter. It
went that way,
a long, long way away. Okay.
It flew like a bird.
Don't. It's one of those things I looked at and I thought, that's got to be good. It's a parabolic mirror, so it's going to focus light and all the rest of it. Yeah. First of all, I thought it was me being stupid. Then I realised it wasn't me being stupid, that it was a lot. I think 4 gardens down, Tracy. Possibly on the roof.
Or your garden.
It was only pennies to buy. So what this consisted of is a parabolic mirror and two springs you stuck on the top, which then would hold your. It's a cigarette. It's what they show a picture of on the thing. It will light a cigarette. Well, the springs are the wrong length. Now, as you know, if you're using a parabolic mirror, it's the same as magnifying glass. It's got a focal point. Well, the focal point was about 5 inches in front of the end of the spring. So you couldn't get enough focus light to light things. And it was so fiddly trying to get the sunlight in there and to get it to actually light something. In the end, after stabbing my finger on the spring 3 times and pretty much fail after fail after fail, and I tried everything. I tried charcloth. I tried, which I did manage to get the charcloth going. After a lot of effort, I tried birch bark. I tried cotton wool, but that was a fail. It didn't work. It didn't work for me anyhow. Maybe I had a duff one. I don't know. But it got to the point that it was just pure frustration. Absolute pure frustration. And in 32-degree heat, eventually I had one of those moments. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. It was a moment. I think the neighbours' kids heard it because they went quiet for about 20 minutes. The birds flew out the local trees. The squirrels stopped coming into the gardens, and it was one of those.
Yeah, Lee, we get quite a few bits. You got some nice the tactical trousers they do on there are good, very good.
See, John. See, in the UK, there is no issue with it as a pen. And again, this comes down to that bloody stupid thing of how you refer to it. Now, I would refer to it if I was asked by a police officer. That's a chunky old pen. What's that for? It's a rescue pen, officer. It's got a glass breaking tip for breaking glass, and it can be used as a windlass for a tourniquet. And it's a very nice pen. By all means, give it a try, see what you think. The cheap, cheerful, you won't break it. It goes in my kit. It's an absolutely brilliant bit of kit. I do know the other uses for it, but I'm not telling him I know the other uses for it. Okay, so as long as you're carrying it with reason and usage, and you're not telling him what you could use it for, and you're not carrying it for that purpose. The same as with your knife. So under UK law, we all know what a knife can be used for. Okay, but under the UK law, that knife is not allowed to be carried or used for that purpose. You probably have the same laws in the States. You know, if you were stopped in the States carrying your sheath knife on your belt, which is quite legal for you to do, and an officer says, "Well, you've got a knife with you, mate," and you went, "Because I'm going to use it as a weapon if I get attacked," he's probably going to take, fucking hell, mate. You're going equipped. You're sort of preparing yourself for a situation if somebody's going to get stabbed.
It's no different from a lady's
Whereas
handbag.
if you're carrying it as a tool, like I do myself, okay, and you can give reason to have it and carry it as a tool, then it's not an issue.
I mean, ladies, they carry, the cones with the long, thin handles. You could stab someone with that.
Yeah. Always got a Sharpie, black Sharpie with me, or a Sharpie with me in the first aid kit. And that literally lives strapped to my tourniquet. Again, if you're dealing with casualties, even if you're not applying a tourniquet, right, notes and information. Eventually, that person's going to the hospital. Anything that you can observe, take notes, take information, mark it on their body. If he starts to seize, then note the time of the seizure, how long the seizure lasts, write it on his body. Okay, that's essential information that can get lost in the process, or once you hand him over to the paramedics. In the panic of dealing with the situation, nobody might have picked up that he's had 5 seizures already, each one lasting 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You just constant information. And again, as I've said in the past, it also means that if your mate's sitting there gonked out, you've got a Sharpie. You can help him adjust his eyebrows.
Yes,
know what he'd look like with a tash and so on.
Yes, Sam, I did say tactical trousers. They have several patterns. They've got black ones.
Yeah.
They've got all different types of camo. They're about £22 a pair when you consider they're about £40 or £50 normally, and they're hard wearing. And
I picked up 3 pairs recently, and they're ripstop. Yeah, pretty much the same sort of design as the British Army combat pants. They do it in MTP. If you don't like MTP, they do them in black camo. They do them in woodland camo. So, and they are hard wearing. They are very, very nice. And the sizings are good as well. No problem with the sizes.
No.
The only thing I do find, as usual, because I've got little stumpy legs.
A little bit long in the legs sometimes.
A little bit long in the leg. But I got stumpy legs anyhow, and I've worn them down over the years.
John, that's such a classic movie, Die Hard. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, you put it a bit better than I did there, Dog Dad. Well done. Yeah, no such thing as a defensive weapon or defensive item in UK law. If you say it's for defence, ultimately classed as an offensive weapon. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh dear, Lee. Was it SPD, Silent but Deadly, or a Rick Roarer?
Yeah, we all had that moment. I did that.
But it's hard to. If you're doing an SPD, it's really hard. There's only two of you in the room. There's one of you. Yeah. You know you didn't do it. You know the other one did.
I think I was about 20 years old, and I come off the camp at 6 o'clock one morning, travelling home to see Kaz, and I was using the bus at the time, so I used to stop off in Guildford, and the only place that was open near the bus station for me to wait for the bus was Wimpy. So I used to go in and grab myself a Wimpy in there,
Derek.
and I used to go upstairs because it was 6 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody about. The staff were all chatting, doing their thing. So I'd go in, give myself my burger, give myself a coffee, go upstairs. And so you're talking 80s then. And it had, I can remember these huge, long, bright red plastic sort of 60s style swoopy bench.
Plastic, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it went right round this top floor of this place, all the way around the walls. And it was just, it must have been a good 80 feet long. And I'm sat at this table at one end on my own, and I've got my burger and my coffee. And this group of about 15, I was sort of, there's students, I think, from the university that were off somewhere. They all came up with their burgers, and they sat right at the other end of the building from me. And they were all sat there having their burgers and that. And you go, that's... Wow, I just thought that's quiet. Like that. And this thing went like that. And I kid you not, they literally all went like that. What the fuck was that? They felt it on the seat the other side of the bloody room. They didn't hear it, but by God, they felt it. Oh, and I just started laughing, and they were looking at me, you animal. I was like, yeah, I'm an animal. No, don't need an accountant, Timo, do you?
No. You have a minimum spend of £10 to get it free. If the item they give you, it's usually send it out within 2 or 3 days. It usually takes about 5 days from then to get to you. They give you a date. If the item doesn't arrive by that date, they credit your account with a £5 credit. And we've had a couple of times, although it's been a certain date for us, it may be the day after for them. So that we've had several credits into the account.
I will say I found it to be a very honest organisation and company. Have not let me down yet.
They send free. You send things back free.
Yeah,
as well.
Send stuff back free if you're not happy with it, and they're quite happy to refund you. There's no messing about, none of this. Or well, we'll give you 10% and you keep the item.
So you're a runner, are you, Lee? Let rip and leave her.
Yeah, I've had a few
mates. You didn't go, really? You did that? Then walk away.
I've had a few mates like that over the years, haven't I? Yeah. Fart and run. There's always that moment where you think you're going to fart and it's not. You got the waddle of shame.
The worst one is when you're near an old person, they do it.
Oh.
Sprouts. Oh. But I find fart humour so funny. Anyone will tell you that, Yeah,
I did that the other day. I thought, that smells a bit like Brussels sprouts. Must be getting on a bit. Poor old Kaz. Yeah. Hershey squirts.
We had a few years back, we went on holiday with some friends, and they had a little toddler with them, and Mick started saying that when he farted, he goes, "Who tried on that carpet frog?" And that was it. It's carpet frogs.
Yeah, the little lad picked that up straight away. He was like, every time he farted after that, or he heard a fart, he went, "It's that carpet frog." I've forgotten all about that. Yeah.
You're lucky.
And again, just remember, you have to remember these things when you're in your bivvy bag. You're inside your good Gore-Tex bivvy bag, it's freezing cold, the wind's blowing, you're in there. You've got that choice to make. You can either let it go and suffer it, or you can climb out and let it go on the outside.
No, Derek, we go to collect him on the 20th. So on the 21st, he'll be back home.
Yeah, right. So that's the other thing I must point out to you guys. There is no Social Sunday next week. Unfortunately, I'm away. I'm visiting family in Cornwall. I'm at a show. I'm going to try and put up some videos while I'm down there using my phone and that, so that there'll be some videos going up. But there won't be a Social Sunday next week. You'll get a night off. Yeah, what else is there? Yeah,
So we go to a steam rally, so there'll be tractor pulling.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys will
the
be interested.
pasty life.
Well, I'll stick some videos up on the channel and that. They'll mostly be shorts, I expect. But just to let you know, I'm
We've
thinking
got
of
lawnmower racing as well, which we're eager to maybe get, if we can, maybe next year take a team down there.
snorkel for the bivvy bag. You can market that. Now there's a marketable item.
It's going to be Shih Tzu. It's a little. I needed one that's small. I've never actually had really my own dog. We've had family dogs, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just a little companion for me.
Well,
His
that's
name's
it.
going to be Willow.
As I'm out more and more often, diving over to help my mum out and things like that. To sometimes get her on us to get left alone for a few days, and I've got friends that come in and help give her support and that if she needs it. But it's in the evenings, it's through the night which gets a bit lonely and that. Just having a little friend to sort of look after. The other thing is it's also giving you a focus, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it gives you something to focus on. It's Kaz's dog. It's I've got too much. I've literally had dogs my entire life. I don't think I've spent more than 6 to 8 weeks without a dog throughout my.
We've had 30 years of a dog. My mum didn't like dogs, so we never had one. I had rabbits and tortoises as a child growing up.
And then she met me, and she came over to the farmhouse at Guildford, and promptly met. I just got to remember this. So we had Sheba, who was a rescue Alsatian, Ben, who was a Labrador, who we'd had for donkey's years, Missy, who was an Irish Jack Russell, someone with the pricked ears, who was a little Victorian old lady.
9 puppies.
Yeah, then
9
there was
Labrador German Shepherds.
and then there was
Holly.
Holly,
The little collie, border collie.
Yeah, so they were our dogs, and then we had a litter of puppies, closely followed by a second litter of puppies from 2 different mums, I hasten to add. So at one point it was about 19 puppies, wasn't it? Running around the house.
Yeah, our house used to be like that, Lee. We've had ferrets, polecat ferrets. We've had hamsters, a lot of rats, because I like rats. We've had fish. We've had birds, cats, guinea pigs.
I grew up with horses, cattle, sheep, pigs, chickens, ducks, geese, rabbits. At one point, we farmed rabbits for a while.
Okay, nice. Sorry you got to leave early, John. But speak to you again soon. Evening, Ray.
John, take it easy. Stay safe, mate. Great granddaughter getting dropped off for dinner. Oh, excellent, mate. Hey. yeah. Set that spoil mode. Yeah, enjoy, mate. It's nothing like it. It's great fun. Stay safe and catch you very soon. Yeah. So I grew up with animals, dogs and that, and then all through my adult life I've kept up with the dogs and that. I used to do ferreting and things as well.
And we used to be part of animal rescue.
Yeah.
Local animal rescue. So we've had deer in our Land Rover. We've had snakes here. We've had
Yeah.
geese,
Yeah, you name it. We've pretty much done it.
hedgehogs,
In fact, I've
foxes.
even turned up at home at 6 in the morning with a horse that I found stood in the middle of a local road. So I tied it up in the garden. So Kaz, got no idea whose horse that is. So
He did come home one day with his. I thought it's weird that he was bringing his motorcycle saddlebags indoors, and he sort of turned the saddlebag round, and there was a duck. Its head sort of sticking out the bag, and he'd actually coming home, since someone deliberately swerved to hit a duck, and he picked it up and brought it home and
got him sorted out.
Yeah, he actually went to a pond.
Yeah.
Near where Phil Collins, the singer, used to live.
Yeah, a muscovy duck he was.
Mm.
I actually watched I can't believe how evil people can be. It was literally, the guy was driving along. You could see the ducks on the opposite side of the road, near the edge of the road, and the guy just swung his car over at the ducks. Literally drove through them, killed 2 of them, and injured this old muscovy male. And I was like, you bastard. And it was a toss-up. It was like chase him down on the bike, pull him out of the car, and give him a very good talking to. Or sort the duck. Well, then I sort of swung back, and poor old duck was in the road, stunned buggery. And I thought, well, if I leave you there, you've had it. And I looked at the bike, out with the Leatherman, cut a hole in the panel, the saddlebag. So that I could sort of sit the duck in there, because it had that much gear in there. It was like squash his body in, get him in there supported so he's stabilised, and unfortunately he's got to have his head out. I'm pretty sure whizzing along about 45 miles an hour. I think he was quite enjoying it, to be honest with you.
It got to be a running joke with us. So he goes, what, he just come in and say, and so what have you brought home today? And the day that he says, I've got a horse, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it used to be the same thing. Used to get to camp. Yeah, people would be like, "What you got there?" Squirrel. Why have you got a squirrel? I just found him in the road. He's stunned. He'll be all right. Take him out and put him out the back of the guard room.
We put a squirrel in our Land Rover. We found one run over on the road, and it was. He carefully put it in the boot, and it come round.
Yeah.
And it was using it was like those wall of death for the motorcycles going round around the car.
Yeah, no, I've got a soft heart that way, I'm afraid. I don't. Yes, I do shoot and I do hunt, but I won't see an animal suffer. No matter how small. I don't squash bugs unless I really have to. I'm careful not to remove spiders. I don't want to harm anything.
Yeah, we had a lot of that at the moment, Lee. There's some young sort of 10 to 14-year-olds been thinking it's really funny around here with catapults and killing ducklings, ducks, geese, swans.
Get my hands on them. I'll get my hands on them. I'll get them to frighten their fucking lives. You want to go killing a duck or you're killing a swan. Yeah, you need to learn a little bit of respect about nature. You need something big and ugly to come along and stand on your neck.
Well done, Lee. Yeah, I'm pretty good with old catapults. I've been using them since I was a little kid. So, yes.
Yeah, I've never stood for cruelty. Never stood for cruelty to anything at all. Won't have it. I learned that from my father. My father was quite a hard guy. He was a guy that wouldn't let anything suffer. And if he had to make a hard decision, he would make that hard decision for himself, and he would take the action that was needed. But never. As a kid, one of my memories of my father was him grabbing a drunk. We'd gone out as a family for an evening, and this guy had a crab, and it was a big crab. He'd obviously bought it. He'd either bought it or caught it. And he was sat outside the pub at the table, and he was putting cigarettes out on this live crab and laughing. And my mum got really upset. My old man turned around and said, "If I see you do that again," he said, "I'm going to make you eat that fucking crab." And the bloke went, "Oh, yeah, you're going to." And I was so proud of my dad because it was just a one. That's it. All I remember seeing the guy go over backwards. My dad went up, looked at the grab, and he went, "Sorry, mate." Took a spoon and put it out of his misery. And he looked, he just walked back, sat down, didn't say much. Looked at us boys, and he went, "Don't ever let anything suffer. It's your responsibility to other living things." So.
For that, when we were in Cornwall, we had there was a lot of spate of a little jellyfish, a sail jellyfish. So the little backs are that, and they stick out of the water, and they're blown away round by the wind.
Not the Portuguese man of war,
no, not
by the
the
way.
Portuguese ones.
No.
And we viewed, and there's an actual natural swimming pool there, and someone's kid was chopping these things up with a spade. And
I had to have a word with the parents. If I see a kid do that again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing to you. Again, it's a living thing. There's no point in why. If you've got to eat it, if you have to take a life, take it as cleanly and humanely as you humanly can.
As the nation Americans used to.
Have respect for it and use it. That is a natural order of things. Okay, nature is a cruel beast. Okay, but if you to make something suffer for the fun of it, it actually leads me to doubt the human being or the humanity in that being. Don't do cruelty.
So what have we all been doing this week apart from melting?
Yeah, what adventures have you guys had? Anybody done anything? I saw Sam's videos. Very good, Sam. Well done, mate. Keep it up. Keep having your adventures.
Has anyone seen this comet? It was only discovered last month.
Nishimura, isn't it?
Nishimura. It was only discovered last month by a Japanese amateur person, and I was hoping to catch sight of it. It's going to be able to be seen for the next few days, and it'll be 437 years till it next comes around again. So I don't think we'll be doing a social then.
Yeah. A bit of news this week. Don't know if anybody saw out there. Excuse me, sitting over to one side. There was 4 police officers had to be rescued off of the Isle of Skye. They were basically they weren't on duty. They were actually having a bit of fun time, bit of downtime, and they'd gone up to climb one of the mountains on Skye. Had to be lifted off, and that's 4 police officers. So there should be sensibly minded, organised guys who went completely wrong.
We actually been near to where they were climbing, and on Skye, because we stayed in Staffing, and I've got a picture of our youngest son out on this cliff top, and they were further up, but the weather came in, and they just weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing. You can that's not a particularly hard climb there. That's more of a walk, more of a sort of I'd say, it's a walk. I wouldn't class it as a climb. It is, but it is a mountain at the end of the day. They did the right thing. They got into difficulty. They stopped. They sat still. They notified the mountain rescue. They came up and got them off.
The helicopters couldn't come in because the weather was so bad.
Weather was that bad that they couldn't be lifted off. So again, it's that old thing as well, isn't it? Have the kit with you. One of the things you're going to see if you watch that channel, and I'll name it again. Brave Dave is the channel on YouTube. So Brave Dave, the video you're looking for is an intense day on Crib Goch. Okay, that's a Welsh spelling, so it's CRIBGOCK. Right, Crib Goch. Brave Dave. The kit he had there, had the right kit with him. Did all the right things. Right, I commend the guy for what he did, and it's quite interesting. If you watch the video, look at the kit he's pulling out and how he's dealing with the casualty. Okay, did all the right things. I know there's going to be guys say he shouldn't have moved his head and all the rest of it, but no, he did the right thing in that situation. You can't always go with the perfect scenario. Sometimes you do have to adjust your casualty even after something like that. is the guy initially was going to, well, he saved his life. The guy would have died. Outdoor disasters is another series of videos I've been watching. Very, very interesting. That's all over the world.
Dan's voice is very similar to Samuel Jackson. I'm trying to think of the other.
Yeah, no, I can see I can see a picture in my mind. I can't remember his name now. Not Denzel Washington. Anyhow, outdoor disasters, brilliant videos. Great for taking a bit of advice, a bit of knowledge from, looking and learning. 2 Feet Forward, his emergency wild camp. That is another brilliant video showing how easy it can go wrong. I'd watch that if I can. Other ones that I've been watching for the fun of it this week and thoroughly enjoyed, and if they ever see this, big up to them both. I think they're brilliant videos. Angling bushcraft, enjoyed your walks, mate. Well done. Keep it up. Keep going. And Jake's journey, mate. Love the guy. An enthusiastic dude.
His girlfriend as well. She's another one.
Girl outdoors. Yeah. Some brilliant videos there. Very entertaining. Very, very well put together. But again, I will say, Jake's journey, mate. The guy knows his stuff, right? He is
ex-soldier.
He's ex-soldier. It's called Jake's journey, mate, because he literally started filming from the day he left the British Army. He's only a young lad.
Ex-tanky, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he is absolutely a racing snake, fit as a fiddle, fell runner sort, ultra light gear.
Morgan Freeman, that's who it was.
Yeah. So he's done some absolutely wonderful videos. Not so much the survival stuff, but some of the distance walks he does stuff. Brilliant. The lightweight kit, again, he's got the knowledge, he's got the ability, he's definitely got the fitness for using that sort of gear. It's not what I would personally recommend to people that are either just starting out or are of my age. Okay, it's got to be a bit more practical about these things.
Matt, we can't forget your Wild Bear.
Yeah, and Wild Bear, of course. Wild Bear, fantastic videos. Lovely lady. She's got a firm following in Mac.
Yeah.
And I enjoy her videos. She's great videos. Very, very good.
Yeah, Wild Bear,
yeah. So that's the way we're going.
Oh, so Dog Dad, you watch her as well.
Yeah. So we're going to start the Wild Bear fan club on here, are we?
This is like Kendra.
No, she does some good videos, and she gets out to some nice places, and and again, I like her videos. It's, as I said in the past, I get a bit fed up with some people's videos, which somebody who, and again, if you look at the Crib Cop videos on YouTube, there's a lot of people that should never be up there, but because they're influencers, now let's go and walk it in my bikini. Really? You're walking a mountain in a bloody bikini. You can't think of anything more stupid. It's just for the views. Right? It's just.
So
really...
I said Kendra, and you said Viking. Never heard of her. And ice bathing in a underwear. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Don't start fighting over Wild Bear.
I have no idea what they're talking about. No idea at all. I don't know what to say now.
Just nothing about a wild bear.
Yeah, I didn't see one wild bear at all. No, but she does make some brilliant videos. And again, if you guys watch and see anything on YouTube that you think, oh, that's bloody good, share it. Share it on here on Sunday. You see a video you think, blimey, that's worth sharing. Yeah, stick it up. Yeah, people will, so
We have watched a few
it's,
out in the snow, haven't we? To sort of cool ourselves down a bit.
Lee Michael, shall we say fond memories? Fond memories, my friend.
Asking for a friend, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Lone girl on her own.
Yeah, Kendra living in the wilderness,
With a
completely
dog
on
and
her
a-
own, with a dog and a boyfriend, and wearing
Cowboy boots and
not a lot else. Was feeding the pigs. Yeah. I tell you what, I grew up on a farm. No, I didn't see much of that around the farm. That's where I spent my time. Simba Bushcraft, yes. Yeah.
well, I actually like watching the ones in Canada, the old bloke, the one that his
Greg
van
Ovens.
stolen. Yes,
Greg Ovens, yeah, brilliant guy. Yeah, he's a guy that does it to the extreme. And again, sort of videos I'd like to eventually end up doing here in the UK. There is scope for that, and there is the ability for me and Mac to go out and do some wild ones.
yeah, he did get his truck stolen.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, agree with you 100%, Dog Dad. Yeah, rather than getting
No,
up.
there's no such thing as Debbie does bushcraft, Mac. Oh dear.
Hey, Sam, my cat's still in the cupboard.
Yeah, good news about your dad coming home, Foxy.
What's I got to know more about this. The cat's in the cupboard.
And we don't care.
Yeah, that is a song.
It's like a
isn't it?
UB40, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, the cat's in the cradle.
The cat's in the cradle, that's
Yeah.
it.
Silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon.
I was going to ask, Sam, why are you putting the cat in the cupboard?
Yeah, Sam, that's cool.
Yeah, Sam, you can't put the cat in the cupboard. All right, we're going to start
Next
a campaign.
you'll be flushing it. It's not right. You shouldn't do it.
We're going to start a campaign. Sam, you must free Foxy Lady's pussy.
Yeah. Free the pussy. Oh God, I bet Kendra did that one.
It's a clickbait video, isn't it? Oh, this has gone down a path, doesn't it? I'm sleeping in the cupboard.
Any pictures?
Oh dear. Yeah, cats are like that. We used to have on the farm. We used to have 4 cats, and they were proper farm cats. So they used to live pretty much out in the bales. Okay, they had no names. They were well cared for. They got their vets visit every couple of months. Were well fed. But they were farm cats, i.e., they never came in. The only time they ever got stroked was by visitors. That usually ended up in blood everywhere. We used to have to turn around to people that were coming and say to them, that, you know, don't stroke the cat, for God's sake. Because these are cats, so they do a typical cat thing where they lay there in the sun and, oh, yeah, we're having a great time here. And of course, people look at them and go, oh, hello, Tiddles, you're lovely. Do you want belly rubbed? Like that. Oh, ball of fury.
Shut that door.
Yeah. They would be a ball of anger and fury. These cats did not want to be touched by human beings. In fact, their only interaction with human beings was usually the vet. No cat likes having its temperature taken.
On your heart, you used to have my rats. I kept pet rats, and we used to have like they're rat hammocks, and one of them used to hang its arse out.
Yeah.
Didn't it? It used to have its back legs and its bum and tail hanging out, and
never
sleep.
Never seen an animal look so comfortable in a hammock. was this rat. It used to literally just drape over the sides. Its back legs would be hanging out each side.
Yeah, it used to
Front legs hanging out. Its head's hanging off the
touch
side.
its tail and make it jump.
Yeah, happy animal. Happy animals. Yeah. So. Oh dear. Yeah, farm cats. God, that takes me back.
I've been had by many a farm cat
Yeah.
walking in the barns.
Yeah.
Bloody things.
Dogs used to avoid them. Horses used to avoid them. Cattle used to avoid them. Bloody things. In fact, there was Dave, the farmer used to shoot.
Yeah.
He was a cat. What was his name? His little cat. Mao, wasn't it?
Mao cat. Yeah.
Mao was an Egyptian Mao cat called Mao.
Why is your dog and your cat a racist?
I used to go and look after all the pigeons there with the 12 gauge, and every time that cat saw me walking off down the fields with the 12 gauge, he used to come with me, and he was convinced that he was a retriever. I'd knock a pigeon down, and this cat would dart out the hedge, grab it, and just keep going across the field, see him disappear into the hedge with it, and then he'd be off and he'd hide that one, and then you'd pop another one, and out he'd come, grab that one as well, and he'd hide that one somewhere else. It used to take me ages having to walk around afterwards picking them up, swine.
Yeah, one of the places we used to go to a lot at Pinewood. They had a cat called Bandit, and it was a cat that used to get in people's cars. It came from a long way away, and
hitchhiker.
They people would ring up their owners and say, "Look, we've got your cat here." And if you ever saw an open window in a car or van, then in the end they got fed up with it, didn't want it anymore. So it sort of went to this cafe where we used to go with the bikes, and it hated to be touched on the back, and it would lay down on the sofa, and people go, or the tummy, and
ball of fury.
Yeah.
But he was friendly. He'd come up to you, say hello, give him a tickle under the chin and that, and then he'd walk off. He was one of those cats that just really. He was like, yeah.
Just get on the table, on the placemats.
I'll be sociable, and that's all I'm doing.
Grab the links, blimey. I can imagine picking up a link top.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Was it when we saw that the woman's child was being attacked by a raccoon?
But I'll tell you what, actually, yeah, if you think about it, I suppose it's very similar, because cats, if you grab a cat by the scruff of its neck,
sounds like a parent mother.
Yeah, it instinctively droops. It's exactly the same as when they're carried by their mother. It's almost like a reaction that they have. I had to do that a couple of times myself over the years, handling cats that are semi-wild, which we were doing the rescue and that. And one of the techniques for grabbing the cat was literally grab at the scruff of the neck, grab a good handful of skin and pick it up. It doesn't harm the cat, doesn't hurt the cat. You're not pinching the skin, but you just pick it up like that. And it's quite funny how quickly they'll go, stupid thing. Put it into the box, shut the box, and then all of a sudden it's spit, curse and curse.
Yeah, I've heard that there's quite a few cats that go around helping themselves to people's things. Foxes are the same.
Yeah, foxes.
Taking shoes and flip-flops.
Yeah. Things
like that.
Foxes can be buggers, they can. Let me move over a bit closer to my darling wife. There we go. There we go. There we go. I love you. In fact, no, I can't read the screen. Yeah, klepto cats, klepto foxes. Crows the same, jackdaws, all the corvids. They're quite happy pinch stuff.
I had a pet rat that used to steal. She used to get herself out of her cage and go around the house pinching paper, pens, dusters, you name it.
All off to a bed,
and one particular empty packet of jelly babies. For some reason, the smell of it, and whenever I cleaned her cage out, she'd jump in the bag that I was cleaning the cage out into and grab the empty packet and bring it back into her cage again. Animals are funny things. Oh dear. Steal your money.
Yeah.
Hedgehogs steal fags, don't they?
Yeah.
Cigarettes, they love it. It makes them all foam, and it makes them
Yes, Jane, Tracy, but I don't think we'll discuss that one on here.
No.
Yeah, so hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are addicted to tobacco. Okay, so badgers, funnily enough. If they find cigarette butts, they will roll in them and they will lick them and clean themselves with it. And it's the nicotine content. They instinctively know that will act as an natural insect repellent, and it's good for stopping ticks, lice, and fleas, and things like that. But the downside is obviously it's getting a high level of nicotine onto its tongue, and that's toxic. It's poisonous.
It bit your Christmas lights. Cats do it. They've got a thing about Christmas trees, isn't it? Getting them. You see the fowl army. There's always cats in Christmas trees and falling over. And
you say about things getting electrocuted. God, mostly my favourite thing as a kid. The cattle fencing. Used to get your mates from school come to the farm for the first time. Walk along, and the trick was I would grab the electric fence to show them that it didn't hurt. So I'd grab it because I knew what was going to happen, and you were that used to getting a belt from it that you just went, yeah, see, it's only tingles like that. Then they'd grab it, or you'd walk along, grab it, and then grab the hand.
Max, you got a funny story about electric fences and your Labrador.
Yeah.
And the pig.
Labrador, pig, and electric fence. And a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good story. We'll save that one for another night. That campfire talk, that one.
Yeah.
That was quite a good one. I had it one night and I was out shooting. There's a lesson for you. So always carry your guns unloaded, which I always do. Again, like I say, brought up around firearms, used them in the military, used them in the civilian world. So when my gun isn't aimed, it's unloaded, especially when I'm wandering about. There's a 12 gauge. The gun I was carrying at the time was a Benelli semi-auto. So I'm out I was actually doing foxes. So I'm using some very heavy cartridges, and I'm working along the hedge lines of the fields for a farm. And I've been out there through the night and that, not a problem at all. And I'm bimbling back up across the field with a mate. We cut across some horse paddocks. It's pitch black. The gun's unloaded, being carried. And I saw this white ribbon band for the old electric fence for the horses. So I ducked under it, stood up. And what I hadn't realised is that they had two sets of posts with a gap literally of about 8-9 inches, and then two sets of ribbons. And I'd gone under the first one, come up to the second one, and the damn thing literally ran across my forehead like that. It knocked me off my feet. It literally hit me. It was like somebody hit me in the head with a baseball bat. Feet came up a whole lot. Gun went to one side. I landed flat on my back. Oh, knew what had happened straight away. Looking at this ribbon, it's bloody typical. But again, there's a lesson. The gun wasn't loaded. Safety was on. So there was no risk. Double sure. You just got to be so careful. So careful. If I'd had a loaded gun at that time, that could have been really, really nasty. I've got a
friend that actually has a glass eye because he went out shooting with friends, and they were carrying one was carrying a loaded air rifle, and went under a fence, and it went off and
shot him in the eye. Took his eye out. Yeah, it happens. It's always safe. And Derek and that will back me up on this. It's always. It's always the guys that will tell you they're super experienced that have the accidents, and I put it down to I've seen it in the military, seen it in the civilian world. Do something that often, you become blasé, but also people do it so often that they take it. Yeah, of course I've applied the safety catch. I always apply the safety catch, and then they get to the point where they don't check they've applied the safety catch, and they're convinced they always do it, so therefore they've done it. And that's usually the guy that will shoot himself in the foot or in the leg. Which in the UK, I've seen that 3 times. I've seen people shoot themselves in the foot and the leg. Every time. So your first question is, how the hell did you do that? I don't know. Safety was on. You look at the firearm and the safety's not engaged. You're like, safety wasn't on. Well, I'm sure I put it on. I always put it on. So you didn't check, did you? Yeah. Simple as that.
Sam Mossy was in the latest British Army assault rifle.
Yes, I have. I have seen the new British Army assault rifle. I've actually had the pleasure of handling it, and I have fired it. Yes, I love it. Do love it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very, very minimum recoil. It's a straight line, straight action. It shoots. It's accurate. That's it. Thing I don't like about it, yes, it's got a collapsible stock, but it's still not a bullpup. And I'm sorry, I know a lot of 99% of people disagree with me. I do like a bullpup weapon. Okay, I like the fact that, I mean, this is the. I'll give you my figuring behind it. Okay, and I've shot. I've probably used more firearms than your average serviceman, purely simply because of my role. Okay, and I've used weapons from all over the world, and I've used multiple bullpup weapons, Steyr, SA-80, FAMAS, and I've used SMGs. I've used right down to things like the Heckler & Koch, MP5, MP5Ks, MP5SDs, things like that. Silence variant, and also the micro variant. I've used the Uzi. I've used the Uzi micro. I've come across all these things, and I always come back to the fact I like a bullpup. I like a bullpup for a simple reason. I like accuracy. Now, the simple logic to me is if you're holding a firearm, it's a long item. Okay, if you're holding something out here, and the weight and the working parts are between this hand and this hand, the movement is here. All the action, all the recoil is here, and it's moved away from my shoulder. Okay, so it's out where I've got to hold it up, so it tends to be felt more. The thing I've found with every single bullpup weapon that I've used, okay, and I've got a bit, the SA when it first came out wasn't particularly good, but the beauty of it was the movement of the working parts is here. It's between my shoulder and this hand. It's as close to my body as possible. The bulk of the weight is near my centre of gravity, which makes it easier to support the weapon, makes it easier to control the weapon, it makes it accurate along the ranges. Now, the other nice thing with a bullpup weapon, if you think of a rifle, and you go back in history, so you go back to the flintlock and the matchlock, they had a stock. And the reason they had a stock primarily was to push the flaming parts of the match and the lock system away from the firer's face as far as possible, but still allowing him to aim it and point it. That's why you had a stock, because these things had open powder, they flashed and they burnt, and they could burn your face, affect your eyes and that. So by moving them out almost to an arm's length, it made it better. Now that stuck. That system stuck with firearms from that point on. That became the naturalised norm. Have a stock, have the grip, the trigger mechanism, have a foregrip. There you go. You've got a long weapon. But with modern weapons, you don't need that stock. There's no flash there. Okay? So by them moving the working parts, the moving parts, and the bulk of the weight back to between your controlling hand or your trigger hand and shoulder, that puts them into a more controllable position and shortens the overall length of the weapon. Shortening the overall length of the weapon makes it an easier thing for a soldier to handle in a confined space, but still allows you to have a full-length barrel, i.e. you're not having to shorten the barrel. So if you come to a carbine rifle, which is a stock, working parts, and then a barrel, to make it shorter, normally what will happen is they shorten the barrel. The shorter they make the barrel, the less accurately make the weapon. Okay, you also reduce the amount of power the weapon has, because when the cartridge detonates, it produces gas, and gas expands, propels the bullet down the barrel. There is an optimum length for the amount of expansion of gas to get the maximum amount of velocity off that bullet. If you shorten the barrel, you lose that, okay, as well as losing your accuracy. And that is why I love bullpup weapons. Now, the FAMAS is a lovely weapon. There are bits about it I don't like, but it shoots very well. Steyr AUG, absolutely awesome piece of kit. Right? And that to me was one of the ultimate military weapons, because from the factory came with a box with all the interchangeable parts, so that you could have it as a support weapon, or you could have it as a rifle in 5.56, or you could convert it to 9mm and have it as a guard weapon. And it would even then come down to a carbine version of a bullpup. Brilliant piece of design, brilliant piece of engineering. Okay, so that's why I like bullpups, quite simply. But the new assault weapon or new assault rifle, yes, is a lovely piece of kit. It does shoot well. It is accurate. If you, for the role it's in, bear in mind that it has a built-in suppressor. And again, doesn't make it absolutely silent, but it reduces the noise level. And in so doing, makes it easier for the guys to use in the field. Because again, when we train on ranges, you've got ear defence in. When you're in a war zone, do you really want to be wearing ear defence? Do you want to block out all the sound? No, you don't. So you're normally using a radio system. Okay, so you have a level of protection by reducing the muzzle retort of the weapon. The guys are going to be able to hear more what's going on about them, makes them more operationally aware, also protects their hearing. Okay, one of the reasons why I'm deaf as a post, and I am high and mid-tone deaf, is years and years and years of being around firearms. Anyhow, let's have a look back. Hope I haven't waffled too much there. Yeah, SMGs on steroids. Yes, lovely. Yeah.
You're right, bad habits kill. Derek.
Yeah, Derek. Exactly. Bad habits. And the other thing is I know you've probably come across it more than I have, because you do a lot of pistol training out there. You find those guys that are convinced that they do it right every time, and they will not believe that they could possibly slip up. You know, they and usually it's no, mate. I always clear my weapon. Right? They've just had an ND, and you look at them and you go, you've had a negligent discharge. You hadn't cleared your weapon. You're on the target line. People are going forward to mark their targets. You were told, clear your weapon. Yeah, it was clear. Well, it blatantly wasn't, you know. But they're, no, I don't understand it. I don't understand how it could have gone off. Well, because you hadn't fucking cleared it. I always clear it. And it's because they get so convinced in their own ability and skills. I mean, I don't say second guess yourself all the time, but you should always be that bit in your brain where if your brain says, did you apply the safety? You don't think to yourself, I always apply the safety. It's just a physical check, isn't it? It's just that physical check. Or if worst comes to the worst,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, worst comes.
Check it.
Yeah, worst comes to the worst. You know, turn around, notify the range officer. Excuse me, I'm just going to check my work. I don't know if you've got the same procedures there that we have here, where literally once people are forward of the firing point, nobody touches the weapon. You normally put it down, or if you're holding it, it's pointed in a safe direction, i.e. the deck, and you're not allowed to raise the weapon, operate the weapon, operate the slide or anything. But you find yourself in a situation where you've always got a range officer. You turn to the range officer and you go, I think I might have fucked up. And you just need to check. And he'll turn around and go, check it then. You know? Yeah, it's all good. Okay. He'd rather you second guess yourself than, you know, have that moment where bang, where the fuck did that come from? And I've had that 2 or 3 times over the years. I was on a military firing range, and I had a target bank go down or target go down. So I spoke to the range conducting officer and said to him, look, tell you what, let me know when you stop firing. I'll go down and have a look at it. And he went, yeah. And he comes up on the radio and he says, yeah, Mick, not a problem. Stop firing. All weapons are cleared. Everything is safe. You may go down range. Can you check a target for me? I said, yeah, no worries. So I've gone out there. I've got my little tool bag with me. I've gone out, took the target off, and I'm looking at the motor, trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And all of a sudden, bang, and I heard the round go past. And I literally heard it whiz past. And it was like, fuck me. And I was assuming. I stood up and I'm holding a like a ratchet. And I just stood up and I looked at the firing point and started walking towards the firing point. And all I could see was this range conductor officer backing up. And he's going, Mick. I said, I'm not after you. Who the fuck fired that weapon? He went, I'm not showing you because you're going to hit him. I said, you're too bloody right, I'm going to hit him. I said, and eventually they took one side to calm me down, and it was dealt with. Okay, I will say it was dealt with in a manner that made me happy it was dealt with, and I can assure you that person will, in future, when he is told, make safe and clear your weapon, it will be cleared and made safe.
Yeah, good weapon. Shot yourself in the eye. It's like you see all these TikTokers and that doing their gangster thing, and then the gun goes off and hits the roof and
That was bloody annoying.
The rubbishy one.
It was cracked. Get that sometimes in the UK. It's where the cigar packet's been. Somebody's squashed it. Open that cigar, lit that cigar, and all I'm sucking is air. It's got a big crack in it.
Can't you put paper around it?
I would. I'll save that for another day. Put cigarette paper around it.
Dead Man's Click.
Dead Man's Click. Oh yeah. Okay. So Dead Man's Click is when there's no round in the chamber. So you think your weapon's loaded and ready to go. You've gone into a situation where you've needed to engage your target or defend yourself. You brought it up and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Again, it's also if you're not managing your rounds and ammunition properly. Yeah.
I know now.
Yeah, it's yeah. And again, it just comes down to bad drills, bad practices.
You've got a couple of things to review this week as well, haven't you? You're light.
German Army sleeping bag is down. They are bloody heavy. And they are hard to find, Derek. They really are hard to find now. They've not even been in service with the Germans for, I believe, about 15 years. Basically, the only place you're really going to find them these days on the second-hand market. If you can find one, well worth it. What I would suggest is if you could find a seamstress. Okay. The great thing with the German Army sleeping bag was great for a temperate climate because it was literally an all-in-one. So it was literally 95% waterproof. So it had a big heavy-duty plastic coating on it. In actual fact, it's up there. It's the one at the top. You see just to the left of the yellow bag, right, which gives you an idea of its size. The one below it down in the corner is a British Army issue sleeping bag, the old Arctic bag. Okay, it is a big, heavy bit of kit. I would recommend it for anybody in a temperate climate, winter camping, that sort of thing. The beauty of it,
because the arms.
Yeah, the beauty of it was, and the reason I love it, and so many spec ops guys loved it, was the arms. Okay, which meant you pretty much you can do things. You can literally sit up in your sleeping bag, get your brew kit going, and all the rest of it. I've trying to find them even over here now is an absolute nightmare. But I'm tempted to have a chat to. We got a seamstress near us. I'm tempted to go and have a word with her and take up. Buy a second British Army Arctic bag like I've got up there, and a second British Army Gore-Tex bivvy bag, and say, right, what I want you to do is put the sleeves on the sleeping bag for me. So map it out so it's got the sleeves, and then do exactly the same thing with the Gore-Tex bivvy bag. So I can literally, if it's summer months, I can sleep in the bag with the sleeves. And in the winter months, I can get it down into a bivvy bag. And again, I've got the sleeves. I just like that ability to be able to literally move things around. And I don't like to be, I hate being compressed. I just really bugs.
Good night, Lee.
Dumb out of me.
Take it easy.
Lee, take it easy, mate. take it easy. Like I say, I won't be up live next week because I'm going to be down in Cornwall, but I'll be putting up some videos, Lee. But I will be chatting because Lee's in Peterborough, isn't he? Yeah.
I'm going to message him. So.
I'll have a chat to you later on, mate. Two grommets.
You got a Dutch one, haven't you?
Yeah. Right. Let me go through mine. I'll have a look into it. Because if you've got the dog day, you should have a draw cord on the hood, so you should be able to draw. Should be able to draw hood. In actual fact, I've got mine up there. Can I just please wash my darling wife?
Bum in the face. I was helping you.
You were helping me, mate. Right. So you probably mean the two grommets there on the hood. Those basically for a draw cord that runs up around the hood. You've also then got these.
So it's got the draw cord to do.
Yeah, you've got these little popper clips here. Okay, that was so.
He's got the draw cord, but he's got two extras on the side.
Yeah, you've got two on the side. One there on the inside of the hood. All right, those are for
what? Comms.
Yeah. Basically, what you should have on the outside of it, you should have a little weatherproof flap like that, and that was purely simply so that when that's on, they should come literally each side of your ear holes, and that was so that you could get comms, you could hear, you could actually run a lead up through and put ear defence or earpiece into your ears. I did have somebody a long time ago trying to explain to me that they were actually poppers for wearing a woolly hat. No, it's basically, if you look at the positioning of them on the hood, it is for your hearing. Yeah, brilliant bit of kit.
You put your iPods in.
Put your earbuds in.
Yeah.
Brilliant bit of kit. I love these things. I'm actually going to get another one soon. I wanted to pick up another one of those because they can clip together. Okay. So what you can do is you can multiply them up. I've actually seen people do like 4s, 8s out of them and made big shelters and that. So two guys like me and Mac could literally clip our ponchos together and make a big shelter. Tracy, Phil, see you in the morning.
Right, Tracy,
take it easy,
thank
stay
you for doing
cool.
my hair today.
I will see you for coffee in the morning. Take it easy, have fun. Thanks for doing my wife's hair. That was great fun.
And the custard donuts.
Yeah, tent cities. yeah, cadets, little buggers, eh? Yeah, it works exactly the same way, Dog Dad. The Dutch one pops together and you can connect multiples up exactly the same as you could as the old British one. Yeah, brilliant bit of kit. Absolutely brilliant bit of kit. I know, again, it's people sort of say to me, oh, do I carry a waterproof jacket? To be honest with you, no. I carry the poncho. I've got a set of Gore-Tex bottoms. So if it's really, really bad conditions, I put the Gore-Tex bottoms on and just sling the poncho over the top. And they always come back to me and say, well, what if it's windy? It'll flap and blow around. Well, we have a bit of paracord around your waist. That'll do the job.
It's like a poncho for me. If it's raining, around the scooter.
Yeah,
I'm toasty. Yeah, I'm not getting wet.
Sits around the scooter. I mean, it's so versatile from the point of view that if you're out, you're tabbing, you're on the hills, it goes over your head, it goes over your bergen. You haven't got to take your kit off. Your bergen stays dry underneath it. You can then put a drawstring around your waist, hold it up. If you stop and you want to go to the ground and it's that bad of conditions, you can literally sit your ass on the back of it, okay, hook the front of it down with your feet, and that's it. You're in a one-man tent, you're in a one-man shelter. The knack is then is to pull your head inside, and you literally pull the hood in, okay, pull yourself inside, your legs are spread slightly, you've got your brew kit in front of you, you're set up, you literally do your admin in there, you get a torch
eat
out.
Your food.
Yeah, superb bit of kit. So very, very. I hear a lot of people over the years. Oh no, don't like them. Don't like them. Don't
about
like
their
them.
jackets, but your poncho is.
I often say to
more.
people, it's because they've not used it from a tactical point of view. They've only ever used it from the civilian mindset, which then it's a pain in the arse. Have a jacket, have a good waterproof jacket, have a good waterproof bottoms, the rest of it that can pack away lighter and all the rest of it. But it's such a versatile piece of kit. You know, if you lose your top,
look forward to seeing that, Derek.
Still a good shelter system. Excellent. Look forward to seeing that, mate. It's such a versatile kit. And water collection. It is people. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, mine. I've got underneath my seat of my scooter. I've got a pocket. Well, it's like a pocket area. It's ideal. I can put mine under there. It won't blow out, but I know it's there.
It is so versatile. It has 101 use of water collection. I think I've done it on a couple of my videos. If you want to have a look, Derek, water collection with a poncho, stringing the poncho out, tying off the hood, and you turning that into a bowl to collect dew or rainwater and so on. People are always blown away by that when I'm running courses. They go, "Never thought of that." You said, "Well, it's a big flat piece of waterproof material, and if you tie the hood up, you create a bucket. So that's going to hold. I think I worked out one day on mine that I can get 4 litres of water in that, with it brimming that. And if you then allow the top to sag, you can get another sort of 5-6 litres of water on the top itself. Brilliant system."
I think he's watched yours.
Excellent. Give it a go, mate. It works brilliantly.
I suppose I should do Mac, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Again,
Stealthy Kaz.
Stealth Kaz.
I have a little matching one made for Willow.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing, isn't it? If you've got a good quality piece of material like that, you're the only thing limiting you is your imagination. And at the end of the day, give it a go. Ponchos make good stretchers. They make good camp beds. They make shelters. Yeah. Or diagonally, corner to corner.
Yeah, you hang them off the car door, can't you? And
normally, what I'll do with the ponchos, I'll go corner to corner. Do it that way. But the other thing is, it's even. I know it sounds daft, but you shelter your core. So if you can keep everything from your knees up relatively dry, okay, you're protecting your body heat, your core. At the end of the day, with your feet are in a pair of boots, they're in a pair of trousers, but you can always find something to throw over them, even if it's just using leaf litter and that, but just shelter your main core. The other thing is for creating shade. We always think about bad weather as in rain, we always think of it as snow, we think of it as in wind. But
trees.
As a method of creating shade, superb, works for that. Or even as a windbreak. I've been in situations where the moisture is travelling with the wind and it's quite fine, and it's literally travelling horizontally like that. And by literally rigging a tarp or a poncho up vertically like that and then sheltering behind it, I've put myself into a dry environment.
You go on top of the hills with the tools. You're getting amongst those rocks.
Yeah.
like a little cave, and yeah.
Yeah, hunker down into that. What else have I done with ponchos over the years? Rolled up in it, literally caterpillared. There's a technique for you, which is takes a little bit of thinking about, but basically using leaf litter, grasses, whatever you can find, laying it on top of a tarp or a poncho in a very, very cold condition. And then what you do is you lay on the top and you roll over. And what it does, it creates layers. And between each plastic layer of the tarp or the poncho, you end up with a layer of brush, leaf, undergrowth. And it makes a very, very tight sort of a wrap round you, but multiple layers. And that
Like
really, yeah, literally like a burrito. And that in an extreme climate condition, especially with cold, is absolutely superb. It will trap your body heat and it will keep you alive. It's the most, I've done it a couple of times, it is the most uncomfortable night you will have, but it will keep you alive.
Yeah, I saw that, Sam. What you can also do is pull some of the leaves up. Right, when it winds, the wind leaves to blow away, but it'll also hide it a bit more.
Yeah.
So, still.
I used to know a guy who used to bury his wood, protect it, keep it hidden. The only thing you might find, Sam, just a tip for you, make sure that you don't get any moisture underneath it, because what will happen with the tarp, especially if you get a couple of warmish days, any moisture underneath it will start to collect on the inside of the tarp as the ground breathes and sweats. It's a way of collecting water, so you can lay a plastic or a tarp sheet or even a poncho over anything that's green. And then what will happen is the moisture rises up from that and condenses on that in the early hours of the morning. So you might actually be adding a bit more moisture than you intended. If you've got plenty of airflow through it, it won't be too much of an issue. But just one of those little tips. Ponchos make great water collection systems for that. You can bundle them around plants and all sorts, tie them off, and collect condensation.
So are they the ponchos? Are they like an average size? So if you had a Dutch one along with a
that sounds like my sort of day. Dog Dad was coating mine in Fab Seal yesterday, washed it, painted half of it, dragged it across the garden to get it to the other side, stood in the dog turd, dragged the poncho through it, and had to start again. Yep, that was that feeling, mate.
I'm going to say it, Dave. I can't resist it. Shit happens. Yeah, the ponchos, are they all the same?
No, they're not all the same. They vary in sizes.
That's what I mean.
Depending on nationality.
Yeah.
Nationality. The largest one, I believe, is the Dutch one, and it's also.
Just wondering if you had like this Korean or Filipino army, would they be?
I don't honestly know. See, I've not tried the only ones I've used. I've never tried the American one, which I've heard a lot about, and I've got to give it a go. The Dutch has always been my go-to. The old British Army one was a brilliant thing, but they're getting hard to find now.
I just wondered, you see all the different ones.
Yeah, I'm going to see next year if I can collect as many different ponchos from around the places as possible, just to do some comparisons that might worth having a look at. I'll put you onto that. We'll get you start shopping around, seeing what we can find.
Yeah, I did actually notice one today. It was from the Czech army, and that actually came with not only the poncho, it came with like mittens.
Yeah.
But it came with the.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to look into that. 58 pattern, 58 pattern. They weren't virtually indestructible. I reckon you can survive a nuclear blast with them things. But they were made really, really strong and well. Their problem was they would rustle like a bugger, and they weren't very tactical. Because literally, you try creeping through a woods in a 58 pattern webbing poncho, and everybody heard you for miles. So we used to call them crisp packets. But they were good kit for keeping off the weather and the conditions. Yeah, they would do the job.
Well, I suppose if you had a lot of people on have the channels where they do the different ration packs. Can't recall those.
Yeah, sort of like
they're
doing the different nationality meals and that.
Meals and try to have different sorts of ponchos be quite interesting. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. I might have a look into that. Give us an idea there. Might see if we can start rounding up some different ponchos from around the world. See what we can come across. See the more obscure ones as well. See what we can find there. Because I think you spotted a Swiss one the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, one worth looking into. Yeah, poncho rolls, good bit of kit. Drop it on the bottom of your bag. I mean, you see on the video this week what I tend to do with mine. In fact, it's actually up there up there. I tend to that's my British Army sleep mat. My bivvy bag goes up inside that. My poncho goes straight. No, that was my top. My top goes straight into a pouch that goes into the bottom of the bag or into a side pocket. My poncho normally gets folded, and that folds up quite thin, and that'll either go into a mat pocket or it goes straight into the top pouch on any one of my bags. Literally working on principle. My waterproof kit, I want it at the top, first thing out, easiest thing to get to. So if it does really turn bad, I can put that on, and then I can assess the situation after that.
Because you used it. The top bag is actually the legs of your old OGs.
Yeah, old pair of trousers.
They come down and he goes, look, I've got.
Yeah, it was an old trick that goes back to when I was a kid. I remember my first sort of duffel bag when I was probably about 7 or 8 for going to school with for my PE kit, and it basically was one of my dad's overalls, trouser legs, and my mum cut off the bottom of the trouser leg, run a lace round the bottom and stitched up the top, and then run a cord for it from end to end, so it made a bag that I could carry on my shoulder. And I've done it ever since. The bit that goes on a pair of trousers tends to be the arse, and so everything from the knee down invariably is in good order. So cut it off at the knee. These days I'll just try and find an old bit of leather or heavy duty material, cut it in a disc about an inch wider than the leg.
Did usually
turn the leg inside out.
Or something.
Yeah, turn the leg inside out, and then just sew it in. When you turn it the right way out, that's it. You've got a bag, and the lace that ties off the bottom of a pair of OGs or combats, you can then use that as a drawstring for the bag. And I've got several of them up there that I've made over the years. And again, you run courses and people go, "Oh, that's a smart bag. Where did you get that?" So I made it. It's a little bit satisfying.
There's nothing worse than if your crutch goes in your trousers, but the trouser leg, the rest of the trousers are fine. So why not sort of use it for something else?
Oh, is that my arse hanging out?
Yes, your butt.
Sorry about that, guys.
There's a little butt there.
Yeah. Okay, so basically that's what I'm talking about there. See, it's a bit of leather. Excuse the sewing. I'm not particularly good at sewing. So this one is a small mess kit. So basically that was the ankle of the trouser leg there. And then all I've done, turn it inside out, is sewn just an old leather patch into the bottom. Turn it the right way around.
The trousers have got
it
that.
Makes a tidy little bag, yeah. And because you've got the drawstring there, all I normally do with that is just simple as that. Bead with a hole. And it just makes a little bag. And again, you can then make the bag as long as you wanted. If you wanted something for, say, keeping tent poles, that sort of thing in, you could use a pair of trousers, but cut it off at the thigh. You make it as long as you need to, make it to fit what you want. It's just, again, something I picked up from my mum from a time when things were tough and you had to mend and make do. And she was brilliant at adapting. And it's yeah, I was forever grabbing. So you're going to bin them old pair of OGs or that old pair of combats. That gives me. The other thing that I find comes in handy from the old combats and stuff, when they've had it, don't throw them away, because the leg pocket on any pair of combats or any kind of cargo pants, in actual fact,
It's a pocket.
right, is a pocket. Okay. Well, all I do is cut round it, and it makes an absolutely perfect flat pouch. In actual fact, up on the wall there, up next to the sign, is one of these, and it's got a folding cook stove in it. Okay, so again, it's just an old pocket, but it means I can put the cook stove in it, keeps the kit in it, keeps it all in one place, keeps it out of the way. It's a nice heavy duty bag, and it folds away to absolutely nothing if it's not being used for anything else.
The black jerry can, Derek, it's a water one.
Yeah, that's I've got three.
When we have trouble with water sometimes, that we now and again they tell us that they're doing some pipe work and they're not going to have any water. So we've got that there to fill up.
3 of those. One stays permanently full, 20 litres, with a Puri tab in it. Okay, 20 litre Puri tab. So that's 20 litres of sterile water, 2 kept empty and dry. And then if I have to, I can always fill them up in an emergency, and I've got 60 litres of water. Or if I'm going away doing a course, or I'm going away with a group that are going to need water supply, I can pretty much tag along 60 litres of water if I had to. And again, they're just a 20 litre jerry can made in black plastic, purely for water. Army surplus.
Got the white plate on it, isn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you can pick them up fairly cheap. Worthwhile bit of kit, worth having. Yeah, Dutch Army poncho, love it. I do love it. It's a brilliant bit of kit. Very, very versatile. And again, that goes back to the prepper thing. I've got 20 litres of water here. And again, because this estate was built in the
70s? Early 70s.
Was it 60s or what?
It was
basically it was an overflow. This estate was built as an overflow for London. And it was built in a hurry. It was part of we used to have a system in the UK, council housing. So basically, literally, probably about 80% of the population in the 50s, 60s, and 70s lived in council houses. You rented it from the local authority. They gave you a tenancy for life. Okay, and so these places were built cheaply. They were built quickly, and they weren't always built to the best standards. And we have an issue around here with water supply, as in now and again the old pipework bursts, breaks, lets itself down. It dumps one on the ground. So again, I've always got 20 litres of what I call sterile water. So if it happens, I get up in the morning and I find we've got no water supply. Or if something were to happen, which means the water supply is compromised, I've got a backup. Okay, I've got something that can get me by until I can sort out a filter system or, get more water. It's just one of those nice things to have. It's a simple system. Doesn't cost me anything more than the water costs to fill the can. Just nice to have that. Yeah. And the pocket thing, that was just, something. Yeah, that came out more of necessity than anything. I say it was something I learned from my mum. My PE kit from my first school went into that, and I was more than happy to sling that on my shoulder. My school books used to go into an old military Second World War canvas satchel, and I used to wear that over my shoulder. That was my pride and joy. Everybody wanted it.
Maxie's got a
And then-
Welsh Army poncho, sheepskin. It's like Barbara.
Oh, Max got a Taft poncho, have you? Yeah.
Barbara.
Hey, must have been up on the GPMG range over at Brecon.
So you notice quite a few of the different channels. They have skins.
Yes,
Some have deer skins, and
they
that,
certainly do.
yeah.
And it's a yeah, if you got it, you can afford it. Very comfortable.
You're not allergic to it.
Not allergic to it, yeah. Animal skins, yes.
Yeah, your mum. We had goat skins, didn't we? Out of your mum's jag.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, bloody things over. God, start shedding. If you want the finest, absolutely the finest skin and fur for literally survival bedding, cold weather that you will ever find, and if you can find them, if you can get them, well worth the investment because it will not let you down. Is reindeer fur. Okay, reindeer fur is it's a hollow fur. It's actually the hairs themselves are hollow. They trap heat. Absolutely superb.
You got a hat. Someone bought you a hat back from Greenland, Iceland,
No, Lapland.
Lapland. That's it. And that had
Yeah, that was reindeer fur.
on the inside.
That was just beautiful, beautiful. You just did not feel the cold through that. Yeah, so if you're ever looking for skins, you're looking to buy furs to use in your camping or use at home to make something comfortable, especially if you're going to be in cold environments. If you get the chance to grab a reindeer fur, grab it. Grab it with both hands, run with it, look after it, and it will look after you. Absolutely superb get. Can't go for any animal fur is good.
She saw them in Norway, didn't we? But
yeah, elk's good. Bear skins, obviously, that's good.
But
yeah.
we haven't got it in this country.
But yeah, reindeer, definitely the way to go. Normal deer skins, not so much. It's a very short hair. A lot of the UK deer species or lowland deer species are migrants, and they're from more sort of like the Mediterranean style climates. They tend to have a lot shorter hair, not quite so effective. But the sheepskin, if nothing else. Yeah, sheepskin, of course, being full of lanolin. The other bonus with sheepskin and wool is it retains heat even when wet. So again, it's one of the reasons why I advise people to get merino wool layers for the winter. So even if you do get build up moisture, even if you do get wet, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable because it gets damp and it does take a bit of drying out, but it will retain your body heat. Okay, so even when wet, and a good quality woolly jumper, and I mean 100% wool, not something that's 60% polyester. Good quality wool jumper, right, is worth every penny you'll pay for it because it does exactly what it says on the tin. Fisherman's jumpers, we've all seen them. The white fisherman's jumpers with the rope pattern down the front. Used to see a lot of them in the West Country worn by the fishermen. Why do fishermen wear a wool jumper? Again, because when it gets wet, it retains its
It's like
heat.
the Nordic jumpers, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, go in natural fibres where you can.
Very nice steak and and baked potato.
84 degrees there. We beat you. We got into the 90s this week. It wasn't fun at all. Well, saying that, guys, actually, looking at that, Derek, yeah, it's been 2 hours and it's coming up to 20 minutes. I'm going to
You're a
take
little bit late.
and 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm calling it quits, guys, because we do have some scoff waiting for us downstairs, don't we? We've not had our tea properly tonight. We had a quick eat and then we'll finish that later. So, guys, take it easy. Have a great week. As I say, There will be no Social Sunday next Sunday, but the Sunday after we will be back on. I will be away in Cornwall.
Videos, this week.
Yeah, will be a video uploaded this week, and there will be shorts and that coming out over the weekend, just to let you know how we're getting on and how it's going down there. Fingers crossed the weather holds out for us, so we are all camping.
And without fail, we will have a pasty from the heartland of the pasty.
Yes, I will show you, as a good West Countryman, I will show you what a proper pasty looks like. Have a great time, guys. Stay safe. Have your adventures. Dog Dad, keep them going, mate. Looking forward to seeing the rest of the series. What I'll try not to cross over too much with you. Okay, try and work alongside you there. And like I say, we'll get together and maybe do a bit of a collab. I've got a couple of plans for next year that I'm working on with a couple of people. One of those might be a bit of an interesting adventure. Might be 4 or 5 days being out. Mate, not a problem. And the same thing to our other guys. You know, at the end of the day, we're all doing similar things. Sooner or later, we're going to do similar videos. Okay. If I do one that's similar to somebody else's, I apologise. I'm not trying to knock you, steal your credit or anything like that. Usually what happens, I go off, I do my video. And there's been a couple of times where I put a video up and then seen somebody else's video and gone, oh, bugger. If I'd known he was doing that, I wouldn't have done that this week myself.
Yeah, see you at 9 o'clock, Mac.
It's never intentional. It just happens. Mac, I will see you at 9 o'clock in the
Derek,
morning.
I'll take some photographs and email you some, hopefully some interesting ones.
Yeah.
And anyone else who wants that.
Dirty Faces, thank you very much, my friend. Again, thank you all for your support. You're all part of this channel.
And thank you very much for all the nice comments on the video that I did about my disabled ouch pouch. I really do appreciate that from the heart. Thank you.
Yeah.
But please stay safe and be free.
Yeah.
Don't melt. I wish I was having your jacket potato, Derek.
Oh, it's the New York steak that's got me. Yeah, I do like my steak. Ooh, I love a bit of steak. Yes, unfortunately, this channel is never going to be vegan. It's not happening.
No, you're not going to see me faint for a pizza lettuce, I'm afraid.
There you go, Mac. There's our extreme video for next year. 2 men, 1 mountain, 5 days. Vegan. Vegan diet.
Vegan.
Yeah.
No eggs.
Yeah.
No bacon. No.
We'll be dead in the first 3 hours.
You can have porridge.
Right, guys.
Ray.
As I always say, right, Ray, night, mate. Thanks for joining. No.
I'll make you a cluty dumpling. Just saying.
Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. And all of you. All right. May peace and light be upon you all. All right. Have an absolutely awesome week. Have your adventures. Have your fun. Stay safe. Make your videos. These you that make videos. All right. And enjoy doing it. Do it because you love it. Okay. And keep doing it. This has been Mick, Kaz, Matt, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival and the Hampshire Hog Hunters. Loving you all. And yeah. See you soon. Peace and light. Mickey out.
See you later.